Well, welcome back, friends, to Life Coaching for Mompreneurs. I'm your host, Martine, and I'm thrilled to have you here as we dive into how to make 2025 your goals, a reality. The start of a new year is a magical time for some of us. We had an episode earlier this week where we talked about just the pressure of having it all figured out and letting go of some of that pressure. But if you're ready to start with a fresh slate, filled with possibilities, that is what the new year brings. But how often do we set big, ambitious goals only to feel overwhelmed a few weeks in? This is why resolutions don't work. This is why 91% of people do not stick with their resolutions or their goals. We get overwhelmed. And so I want to help you today to break the cycle by learning how to create a concrete plan that turns your dreams into actionable steps. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's get started. Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I am your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. So let's kick things off by talking about clarity. You've probably heard me say this before, but vague goals leads to vague results. It's not enough, friends, to say, I want to grow my business in 2025, or I want to be healthier. Like, what does that really mean? The key to success is defining your goals with crystal clear clarity. And here's how you do that. First, I want to say it's going to require a slowdown, right? Maybe the kids are back in school and you're the ambitious mompreneur who listens to this show every single week and you're ready to hit the ground running. But I want you to take some time to get quiet, to sit with yourself, to sit with your thoughts, your dreams, and your goals, and sit with them for a minute. And if you're a woman of faith, I highly encourage you to pray and get a divine download. Like, what does he want for you in your business this year? What does he want for you that you can align with for your relationships, your health? Like, God is the CEO of your business. He's the CEO of my business as a believer. So that's first and foremost, is we have to slow down to speed up. So maybe you've heard me talk about that phrase before, slow down to speed up. This is it. We have to slow down to get the clarity that we need. So whether it's through prayer, quiet time, divine downloads, and then getting really crystal clear on your goals, it requires you to slow down, to stop hustling, to give yourself this time. So I want you to, number one, be specific. So instead of grow my business, try something like increase my monthly income or monthly revenue by 20% by September. Instead of I want to be healthier, aim for I'm going to exercise 3 times a week and cut back on processed sugar. Like, those are very specific. Our brains like specific details to get to work for. So if you're just saying I want to be healthier, that's not enough detail to give your brain to get to work on the things that you need to do. It doesn't give you enough detail because what I deem healthier may be very different from what you have as your definition of health. So be very specific. The second one is to set measurable outcomes. So how will you know when you've achieved your goal? Define clear markers for success. For example, if you want to grow your email list, set a target number, maybe say 1,000 new subscribers by June. And this is something that I talk about a lot with my coaching clients. They're just not clear on what success is to them. They see success as defined by other people on social media or the other moms in the mom groups or in their peer groups, in their communities, Facebook communities. They see success, but they haven't defined what success is for them. They haven't defined what being productive means to them. And it is different for everyone, because we're all in different seasons of life. We're all in different seasons of our businesses. And we don't want to measure your day one to someone's day 100. It looks different. The things that you're doing on day one are very different than what I'm doing 17 years later into entrepreneurship. So set measurable outcomes and define clear markers of success for you. Number 3, we could do a whole episode on that, and I probably will, but just want to kind of put that out there in the beginning. Number 3 is time-bound goals. So give yourself a deadline. To all my fellow procrastinators out there, give yourself a deadline. We need them. If you're someone who is a perfectionist or has, I don't want to label you that, but if you have perfectionistic tendencies, I know I do too, because I'm a processor. I like to think things through, I like having the plans, all the details. This is where a deadline is helpful. If you just have open-ended goals, those often lead to the procrastination, because if you give me 365 days to complete something, guess what? I'm going to do it on 364. It's just the way I work. I work better under pressure, and deadlines create the pressure for me. And this is something we talk about in my one-on-one coaching and the Eliminate You process. It's helping you to understand what your energy style is, helping you to understand, do you work better under pressure? How can we use that, not to procrastinate, but use that to create really clear deadlines and a sense of urgency, and to help you to prioritize? So this is unique to everyone. This is the kind of information that going through the Eliminate You process will help you to understand. And that's why it's so helpful to have the information when it comes to goal setting. And number 4 is to align with your why. We skip over this. We think it's fluffy. We don't think it's important, but I want you to ask yourself, why does this goal matter? Now, does it matter to my peer group? Why does this matter to, my best friend, my BFF, my business bestie? But why does this goal matter to you? Maybe it's a goal that matters to your family. What will achieving it bring to your life or your business? This connection to your deeper purpose is what will keep you motivated when things get tough. And they're going to get tough. It's not a win or an if, it's a win. When things get tough, when you have that deeper connection to your why, to the goal, it matters. And it will be a game changer for you. So those 4 things, being specific, setting measurable outcomes, having those time-bound goals, and aligning with your why. I'll also say aligning with your priorities and your strengths. That's another piece of the Eliminate You coaching that we work through, is helping you to set goals around your priorities and for success, because now we're setting not a generic plan up for you. We're setting one that's customizable to your strengths that are revealed to you through the ProScam and the Eliminate You coaching process. So aligning with your why, aligning with your strengths, aligning with your priorities is huge for not just defining the goal, but for actually achieving the goal, which is why you're listening to this podcast. So now that you have a clear vision, it's time to move to the next step. But that's the step most people skip. They just want to get into action. Like if you're an action taker, if you're, I like to call an A-line girl, like you get all the actions, and that's what I'm a worker too. Like just give me the work. Don't make me think about it. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. But you really do need to slow down and go through that first step, which is defining your goals with clarity. And then we're going to be breaking it down into manageable pieces, which is what we're going to do next. So we've all heard the saying, a goal without a plan is just a wish, right? And while it sounds simple, many of us get stuck between setting the goal, a big goal, and figuring out how to actually achieve it. This is where the magic of breaking down your goals comes into play. So step 1 is to reverse engineer your goal. So let's just say your big goal for 2025 is to double your business revenue. That's huge and that's exciting, right? But it's also daunting if you just stop there. The key is to reverse engineer it and ask yourself, what milestones need to be achieved to reach this goal? So actually one of the processes that my coach takes us through is a 3-year plan. So in 3 years, which is really hard for me and my personality, because like I said, I do better under pressure, but really trying to think through, okay, what's my 3-year plan? And then she has us back up. Okay, so what does each year look like? And then within each year, what is the quarter going to look like in this first year that you're working towards your 3-year plan? So I want you to kind of think of it in that same way. What are the milestones that need to be achieved to reach this goal? What quarterly targets will keep you on track. So I know for this quarter, I know what my 3 essentials are that I'm going to be working on to help me achieve my goal this year, which is also going to impact what I do 3 years from now. And then what monthly actions are necessary to hit those quarterly targets. So I've done a podcast before, I think, talking about setting goals based on action versus the result. So what are your monthly, weekly, and daily actions that are necessary? So if we do enough of the right things enough times, we'll get the right results, right? So we want to make sure we're tracking not just the scale weight. So you're just checking the scale weight every week. And that can be really frustrating. If you've ever been on a weight loss journey before, getting on the scale can be super frustrating. Same thing with sales. Like if your end goal is $10,000 for the month and maybe you don't hit that month, but you can see the right actions that you took because you're tracking that every day, every week, and every month, then you still have celebration. You can still see progress. So what monthly actions are necessary to hit those quarterly targets? So we're taking this big goal and we're breaking it down. We're reverse engineering it. So that's step 1. Step 2 is create a weekly game plan. So once you've reverse engineered your big goal, it's time to drill down even further into your weekly and daily actions. So think of this as like your game plan. So each week you're going to identify what are 3 to 5 key actions that will move you closer to your goal. So if it's income or increasing your sales, then one of those key actions is probably going to be talking about your business. So maybe it's going to a networking event every week or doing a pop-up Facebook Live every week. Like, how are you going to get in front of new people to talk about your business? And then you want to break these into smaller, manageable tasks and assign them to specific days. Y'all, my brain works best when I have specific days for specific things. And if you have one of the personality traits that we measure in the ProScan is conformity. So those of us who have high conformity in our personality or conformity above the midline, then we love systems and processes and structure. Now, some of you have lower conformity. That means you just are more a free thinker, a big picture thinker. So you struggle with like taking the big picture, the big goal, and bringing it down to your daily actions. That's not something that you naturally are gifted at, or naturally that's not a natural strength of yours. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means it might be a little bit harder for you. And that's okay. Just because it's harder doesn't mean it's impossible, right? So taking the big goal and breaking it into smaller manageable tasks and assign them to specific days, that brings success for me. You might need a little bit more flexibility in there. Again, this is why going through the Illuminate You process is so important, because you can stop feeling guilty or stop feeling bad or stop comparing yourself to how these are some suggestions and how I set goals and how I help others, but we tailor it, we customize it when we're working one-to-one. Hey friend, can I give you permission today? Like for real, your own permission slip. Permission to get clear, to cut out the noise. Mostly the noise that is going on around in your own mind, in your own head. It's just swirling. And you're asking yourself questions like, why am I stuck? Why am I frustrated? Why am I not making progress on my goals? I want to invite you to a free clarity call with me where we're going to dive in and we're going to identify what are the 3 main issues that are keeping you stuck. Number 2, what are the mindsets around those issues that are actually keeping you from solving for those issues? It's not our skill sets, it's our mindsets that keep us stuck and hold us back. And then number 3, identifying what are your next steps. We all have a next step, and we have 100% responsibility for those next steps. Your only next step right now is to go to the show notes and book your free clarity call so that we can work through this. I'm believing in you, and I cannot wait to see you on our clarity call. Okay, so step 3 is to prioritize and focus. So a common mistake is trying to do too much at once. If you're an overachiever here listening, you want to achieve all 10 goals all at the same time and work on all of the areas of my life all at one time. And that's a common mistake because we're so excited, like the fresh year, new you, which, I don't love that phrase, but new year and all these new possibilities. And we're just going to hit the ground running. And This is something that I have worked on over the last 2 years, is really simplifying it down, simplifying my offers, simplifying my messaging, simplifying everything down. Because when I'm trying to do too much at once, it's overwhelming and it's confusing to me, and it's probably confusing to others. So remember, success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things consistently. So I want you to ask yourself, what are the high impact tasks that will drive the most results? There's lots of things you can get busy in your business doing in 2025. The question is, what are the high impact tasks that will drive the most results? Because you don't want to be just busy. You want to be in business, and there is a difference, y'all. So how can you eliminate or delegate low priority tasks? How can you eliminate or delegate low priority tasks? Like, some things just need to come off the schedule, come off the calendar, come off of your to-do list. They're not a priority. Or delegate it out. This could be at home or at work. I'm going to do a whole other episode on delegation, so I'm not going to go into major details there. But that's the only way to get more time in your day, is to eliminate or delegate. You either do it, delegate it, or delete it. Okay, so imagine you have a goal to launch a new online course, maybe by the mid of the year. And actually, one of my goals for 2025 is to launch my group coaching program, a signature group coaching program, build upon what I've already launched in 2024. But it's not something I'm doing in the first quarter, but it is a goal that I have by the middle of the year. And so breaking it down, like breaking down my milestones, or maybe your milestones, could include, Q1 would be the course content development. So just working on developing the content for that course. Quarter 2 could be marketing and pre-launch activities. So now that you've got the content developed, second quarter, you're going to be marketing and working on your marketing, working on all those assets, maybe pre-launch activities. And then monthly, you can be drafting up those modules for the course. You could be creating the promotional materials. Weekly, you can be writing the content, recording the videos, and scheduling social media posts. So this is how you break it down. You get the big goal of launching a new online course in the middle of the year. You can, again, fill in your goal for the year. Maybe it has nothing to do with business. Maybe it's personal. But how can you take the big year and break it down into quarter 1, quarter 2, monthly, and then weekly? So once you have your action plan in place, the next crucial step is to build accountability and flexibility into your system. I'm telling you, I would not be where I'm at today as a successful entrepreneur, and really just as a mom, without accountability. It's just a part of who I am. We talked about that. It's the who before the how. I am a person who prioritizes accountability. And that means from a personal and professional standpoint. I have a coach professionally, and I have a trainer. Not every day, but 2-3 days a week. I'm actually going to bump it up in 2025. But I have accountability set in for me, both personally and professionally. Because I know, left to myself, there are going to be days where I don't feel like going. There's going to be days where I don't feel like showing up. And I need that accountability. So even the most disciplined, the most, whoever you have in your mind right now is the person who always hits their targets. I guarantee you they have built-in accountability and they have flexibility in their system. So this ensures that you'll stay on track while allowing room for adjustments when life inevitably throws curveballs. Because I don't know what your 2024 was like, but there were lots of curveballs that were thrown in my 2024. And so you have to also have the flexibility. So step 1 for building in accountability and flexibility is your accountability system. Like, it really is a game changer when it comes to sticking to your goals. So here are some ways you can kind of keep yourself accountable. Number 1, get an accountability partner or a group. Find a fellow mompreneur or join a mastermind group where you can check in regularly, share your progress, and encourage one another. Hire a coach. I know someone who can help you with that. So shameless plug here. If that is something like, some of my clients that come in, it's not that they don't know what to do, it's they're not doing it. Most of us don't have a knowledge problem. We have an implementation problem. Implementation comes from having the accountability, having someone in your corner, having someone who's believing in you when you're not believing in yourself. That is what I do as a coach. And so if that's you, if I'm describing you and you're frustrated and you're tired of setting these goals and setting intentions and setting resolutions, and it's the same cycle every single year, doing the same thing over and over again is insanity, right? It's time to do something different in 2025, and I'm here for you. The second part of your accountability system is to track your progress. So use tools like habit trackers, journals, a project management software like Trello or Asana to visually track your progress. You can use the Notes app on your phone. You can use a legal pad. I don't care. It does not matter how fancy it is. Whatever system you can use that you will use is the right system, and it's different for everyone. So however you track your progress, this is critical to you staying motivated, to you keeping on task, is to track the progress, because progress is what creates more progress. When you see the progress, when you're tracking your daily actions versus just looking at have I met the goal this week, that is what creates more progress for you. And then I've done this one before. This is a really interesting one, is public commitments. So sometimes sharing your goals with your community or on social media, your social media followers can add an extra layer of accountability. Now, caveat for this, one year I shared that I wanted to have 4 speaking opportunities that year. And that year was the year that I was asked to be the commencement speaker at my son's school. And I remember when I had the invitation, the principal came and asked me, I'm like, Lord, that's not the kind of speaking engagement I was looking for. But you've heard me talk about it. If not, I'm super thankful that I had that opportunity. I did it. It was amazing. I'm so thankful that I grew and as a speaker, and my confidence grew through that. But putting it out there publicly is a layer of accountability. So maybe that's one way you want to put it out there. Hey, I'm on this health journey. Who wants to come with? Right? That could be an accountability partner that you're seeking out, an exercise buddy, and a level of accountability that they're going to be expecting you to post every day what you're doing for your fitness. Okay, step 2 with building accountability and flexibility is to celebrate the small wins. Don't wait until you've reached the final goal to celebrate, y'all. That's such a momentum killer when you're not celebrating every day what I did well today. Most of you don't have a problem finding the areas that you fell short. So I want you to be hyper aware, hyper focused on what you are doing well, what is working well towards the goal. So acknowledge and reward yourself for hitting those smaller milestones along the way. Tell your family, share it with your family too. And then step 3 is to embrace flexibility and the adaptability. While accountability is important, it's equally crucial to remain flexible because, well, life, right? Life as a mom, life as an entrepreneur, we have to have flexibility because goals are not set in stone and life can be unpredictable. One phone call can change everything. So here's how to build in some flexibility. Number 1, regular check-ins. Schedule monthly or quarterly check-ins to reassess your goals. I think sometimes we don't set goals because we're afraid that it's set in stone. A lot of times when I'm talking with entrepreneurs about their brand or their course name or their Facebook group or their business name, they're so afraid to pick one because they think it's going to be set in stone forever. Y'all have seen, if you've been around here for a hot minute, my brain has evolved over the years. And so it's okay to check in, and I highly recommend that you check in monthly or quarterly to reassess the goal. Is the goal still the goal? Maybe you already hit the goal and you're ready for a new one. Maybe you need to give yourself more time because it's going to take longer than you thought. Most things take more effort and take longer. It costs more money than we initially think. So it's a great discipline to schedule in those monthly or quarterly check-ins to reassess your goals. Is it something you're still excited about, something that you really want? Or was it just something you said in the moment and now you're like, maybe it's not as important as I thought? The second one is to give yourself permission to pivot. So give yourself grace to change direction if needed. Doesn't mean you failed. Doesn't mean that you didn't know what you were doing when you set the goal. Just give yourself grace to change your mind and change direction if needed. And the last one is to focus on the progress over perfection. I feel like I say this 100 times every episode, but so many of us, I'm pointing a finger back at me when it comes to this. Like some weeks will be more productive than others. This is not, we're going to hit the goal 100% of the time. Some weeks will be more productive than others, and that's okay. What matters is consistent progress, not perfect execution. If you're waiting for the perfect time, if you're waiting for the perfect course, if you're waiting for the perfect message, If you're waiting for the perfection, you're going to keep waiting. So we're about progress, trying things, doing them messy, moving forward in imperfection when we don't have the perfect plan. And here's a mindset shift. As Winston Churchill wisely said, success is not final and failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So there you have it, friends. 3 key steps to transform your 2025 goals into reality. Defining your clear goals, breaking them down into actionable steps, and building out accountability and flexibility. And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress and persistence. So thank you so much again for joining me today on the podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with your fellow mompreneurs. I would love it if you would leave me a review as well. And I cannot wait to catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.